Our Lady of Mount Carmel, Nuestra Señora del Carmen. Ito ang isa sa mga pinakakilalan na titulo at tawag sa ating mahal na ina. Dinala dito sa Pilipinas ng mga paring Recoleto ang imahe niya galing Mexico noong 1618 at mula 1621 ang San Sebastian Basilica na ang naging dambana niya. Sa mahigit 400 taon nang nakalilipas, dumami ang mga deboto ng Our Lady of Mount Carmel de San Sebastian. Lumaganap ang paniniwala sa kanyang pamamagitan. Kumalat din sa buong kapuluan ang pagsuot ng brown scapular at ang pag-asa sa mga pangako nito. Patuloy pa rin ang pandemya at sa harap ng palibagong banta nito sa ating kalusugan at hanap buhay, bumalik tayo sa ating mahal na ina at hingin muli ang kanyang tulong. Magkaisa po tayo sa isang novena na gaganapin sa pag-abang at paghahanda sa kapistahan ng Nuestra Señora del Carmen de San Sebastian. Ang novena ay masasabayan sa Facebook page ng Parokya ng San Sebastian at ng mga parokya, eskwelahan, communities at organizations na kasama sa pamilyang Recoletos. Tuwing alas 5:30 ng hapon mula January 21 to 29. Samantala, ang misa naman sa araw ng kanyang kapistahan ay gaganapin 6 p.m. sa January 29. Ito'y pangungunahan ni Jose Cardinal Advincula, Archbishop of Manila. Patuloy nating ipagdasal ang ating mundo, ang ating bansa, ang ating pamilya at mga kaibigan, ang ating sarili, sa ating mahal na ina, Our Lady of Mount Carmel de San Sebastian. Sister, pakibahagi po sa amin kung sino nga ba ang Talangpaz Sisters at kung ano ang kanilang debosyon sa Nuestra Señora del Carmen.
Ang Talangpaz Sisters, si Mother Dionisia Mitas Talangpaz at si Mother Cecilia Rosa Talangpaz ay magkapatid na taga-Kalumpit, Bulacan. Gustong-gusto nila na malapit sila sa Our Lady of Mount Carmel. So yung paglilingkod nila sa Panginoon, gusto nila na through the Blessed Mother, Our Lady of Mount Carmel. So kumbaga, yun talaga yung hinanap nila na may nakapagturo sa kanila na mayroong Our Lady of Mount Carmel na naka-enshrine sa San Sebastian Church. So taga-Kalumpit sila, taga-Bulacan sila. Wala pa noon yung mga kalsada na kagaya ng pwede nating daanan sa ngayon. So that time, they traveled by boat. So from the rivers of Bulacan, they arrived in Kalumpang, which is now the San Sebastian Church, the area, which is commonly called as the Plaza del Carmen. So when they arrived there, they were able to travel through the help of their brother, who was then the Gobernadorcillo that time. You know, they come from noble family, as has been always explained by Father Emil, and in our previous videos and interviews, which are found in the Facebook of the congregation of the Augustinian Recollect Sisters. So kumbaga, hindi sila yung mga ordinaryong mga ladies, pero they belong to an affluent family, but then they really want to reserve their lives to God, and then they want to be close to the Blessed Mother, Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Kaya doon sila napapunta sa San Sebastian Church, kung saan naka-enshrine ang Our Lady of Mount Carmel. So kumbaga, devotion to Our Lady of Mount Carmel, I could say that that is their desire, their heart's desire, ever since they realized their spiritual growth and their devotion to God.
Sister, paano po nila ipinamalas? How did they manifest their devotion? Itong devotion nila sa Our Lady of Mount Carmel po.
It's not actually directly na yung Carmel lang talaga yung sisilbihan nila. Pero yung Our Lady of Mount Carmel na naka-enshrine sa San Sebastian Church, paano nila na ipamalas, madaling araw pa lang nasa simbahan na sila. kasi merong misa sa umaga, and then during the day, they stay in the church cleaning and then washing the linens and the vestments and the things used in the church. And then they return to their little house, which they rented, which is at the back of San Sebastian Church now. Actually, that's the Bilibid Viejo. So, paano nila na ipamalas? First and foremost, they left their family. Just like the story of Jesus when he called his first disciples. They left their family and they left a bright future. Mother Dionisia and Mother Cecilia Talangpaz, knowing that they are coming from an affluent family, they departed from a family that promises them a bright future, and then they themselves really hurdled the travel from Kalumpit. No, it was very difficult to travel that time, and then arriving there, and then knowing that the future was really uncertain for them. And then I think no parents would ever say that, okay, you go there despite the uncertainty. But despite the uncertainty, I should say, the parents did not oppose to the plans of their children. So ito ay mga pamamaraan na ipamamalas nila na ang kanilang debosyon talaga sa Our Lady of Mount Carmel ay napakahigpit or napaka-strong, napakatatag, na walang sino man na nakapaghadlang sa kanilang pagbibigay ng kanilang mga sarili sa Our Lady of God through Our Lady of Mount Carmel.
Sister, itong magkapatid na Talangpas, nagkaroon sila ng mga kasama, nagkaroon sila ng
Opo.
samahan
Yes.
that eventually later on, many years later on, became mga Augustinian Recollect Sisters, di ba?
Yes.
Pero before that, they were really just a group of ladies, magkakasama
Yeah.
sila. Paano ho nabuo yung initial na samahan nila?
Actually, walang recruitment. Walang recruitment. That's the best that I could say. Walang recruitment. And dun natin masasabi na ang samahan namin ng Congregation of the Augustinian Recollect Sisters ay naitatag even if there is no plan of founding it. So, ang magkapatid na Dionisia at Cecilia Rosa Talangpaz, walang intensyon na bumuo ng isang samahan. Umalis lang sila sa Kalumpit, Bulacan dahil lang sa kanilang debosyon sa Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Tapos nakikita sila ng mga tao, siguro ng mga ladies noon, yung mga babae din na ng mga nagsisimba. Diba? Ang witnessing talaga natin kung makikita ng mga tao. The time siguro nakaka-inspire pa na yung pagsisilbi sa Panginoon, ang madali natin masabi na gagayahin ko yun. Ngayon, napakalaking challenge na talaga na kahit ano ang mabubuting gawain na ginagawa ng mga mother o kaya ng mga tao sa simbahan, hindi natin masasabi na ang nakakakita ay, huy, susunod ako doon kasi ang ganda ng kanilang ginagawa. So, yung dalawa lang sila, and then nakikita sila ng mga nagsisimba, and then na-encourage din nila itong mga nagsisimba ng mga ladies, na mga nag-manifest na gusto nila sumama sa kanilang dalawa. So, naging 3, naging 4, tapos hanggang sa naging 8 sila. Significantly, meron silang, ang isang kanilang community, sabi pa ni Father Emil, communal beatas. May community sila. So, beatas who belong to a community. So, yung kanilang grupo na 8, ang nag-aano sa kanila, ang nagsusustento ay ang mga pare ng Order of Augustinian Recollects. So, hindi ko naman siguro i-detailed ang history na syempre, as they grow in number, magkakaiba ng family of origin, magkakaiba ng orientation habang lumalaki o nagdadalaga o lumalaki o tumatanda ang mga ladies na ito. Siguro masasabi natin yung differences of ideologies, talagang doon sila nagkaroon ng yung mga differences hanggang sa na sila yung nabuwag yung first community of Beatas. Pero kahit umuwi yung mga kasamahan nila Mother Dionisia, hindi sila nagpadala dito. They maintained, they have in their heart the commitment, devotion that they have had even when they were still young. So kahit mga bata pa sila na hindi nila alam kung saan, kung ano mga plano nila, alam na nila na they are reserving themselves to God. So by then, nung naibalik ang silang dalawa, nang tinanggap uli sila ng mga Augustinian Recollect Fathers, mga Espanyol pa yon noon. But then, doon na yung nagkaroon na ng, nagkaroon na uli ng mga new members hanggang sa, in short, naging diocesan congregation na kami, Augustinian Recollect Missionaries, hanggang sa naging Congregation of Pontifical Rights kami. So I think last year or the other year, we celebrated our 50 years of as a Congregation of Pontifical Rights. Very, very humble ang mga ang beginnings ng aming congregation. So hindi siya yung very dahil coming sila sa isang noble family, so the announcement could have been, oh, my children will be going to Manila to found a community. Hindi po ganun ang nangyari sa amin. So yung samahan ng congregation of the Augustinian Recollect Sisters, it's so humble. And I, for myself, I could say that I'm really humbled when I could say that I became part of the congregation. And even for myself, if I say that with this vocation of mine, hindi ko mai-explain ang bukasyon. So such as ang bukasyon ni Mother Dionisia at Mother Cecilia na magtatag ng kongregasyon, hindi po yun ang kanilang main aim. Ang aim talaga nila is to give themselves entirely to God. And it is when God calls, when God wills, nangyayari. Kaya kung masasabi ko na itong kongregasyon namin, ito ay kaloob talaga ito ng Panginoon. Dahil kung hindi ito kaloob ng Panginoon, hindi ito mag-i-exist hanggang sa ngayon. Can you imagine, dumating sila 1719, tapos naging official ang pronouncement na 1725. So sasabihin natin na Congregation of the Augustinian Recollect Sisters since 1725, ang root noon ay hindi lang dyan sa San Sebastian. Ang root noon ay ang family of origin, ang church of origin nila, which is Kalumpit, Bulacan, without forgetting that the mother of the Talangpaz sisters are coming from Pampanga, but their residence really as Talangpaz family is Kalumpit, Bulacan. So yun ang masasabi ko na humble beginnings. They came from a noble family, but yet they started humbly. And I acknowledge that our congregation has flourished, perhaps with the challenges of vocation crisis. Our congregation still survives because this is God's will that we will survive. So if it is not, we are not as sturdy as we are with God's grace.
Totoo po ba, sister, na posible na maging santa ang magkapatid sa Talangpaz?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, siguro naman, Bing, masasabi ko na I believe they are in heaven and they are saints already. However, we really want them to be declared as saints by the church as saints. You know, I think for me personally, ang dami ng manifestation sa akin na yung miracles nila na masasabi ko talaga na saints na sila. Posible talaga. Kasi kung hindi sila saint at the moment, where could they be, di ba? Talaga namang posible talaga. And then the process may be excruciating, you know. Maybe difficult, maybe challenging, talagang kumbaga pag nadadapa tayo, talagang hahalik tayo sa lupa. Para sa akin personally, kahit ano siguro gagawin ko para lang talagang maipahayag sa buong mundo na saint ang aming founders is. They are really saints. So kung possibility lang pag-uusapan, siguro lang po sa possibility, they are really saints already. Hindi nga lang, di ba may mga saints naman na hindi na-declare? So dahil sa natabunan na ang kanilang records, so and the recording was not as efficient as should be expected, but then we cannot do something against the past, or we cannot do anything about the past. But the only thing is, from here, where are we going? So maybe we can take it one day at a time, and we can realize na there is really divine intervention. Who knows kailan mag-intervene ang Holy Spirit, ang divine intervention, kailan mangyayari para ma-declare sila a saint? No one knows, but God knows. And I trust it's not only possibility, but they are already saints in heaven. Naniniwala ako na isang araw, they will be declared as saints. No, I trust in that. So it's not only a possibility, but I trust it's a reality that they are already saints.
Sa konteksto po ng ating paggunita ng 500 years of Christianity, papaano nagiging pagsasabuhay ng katagang gifted to give ang buhay at halimbawa ng Talangpaz Sisters?
Talangpaz Sisters. I trust yung sa kanilang desire is already a gift. So they are gifted. They have been gifted. They are gifted with that desire that they will offer themselves to God. And then the desire did not stay as desires, but their desire has become or has turned into a perfect reality in God's perfect time. Now, ano naman yung to give? Ano naman yung karugtong? Gifted to give. They offer themselves to God. You know, alam mo Bing, nung nire-reflect ito, before tayo nag-usap ngayon, I visited the Blessed Sacrament in the chapel. Sabi ko sa Holy Spirit na give me the words that come from you, and then I'm going to share it with whatever conversation that will transpire this afternoon. Kasi sabi ko, kung yung desire, hindi lang dapat kasi ang desire is already a form of prayer. Pero dapat yung prayers must always be accompanied by ano ba yung ating maisasagawa. Yun. So gifted sila ng desire, pero to give. Ano ba yung pagbibigay natin ng ating sarili? Minsan magbibigay ng sarili, pero nawi-withdraw natin yung binibigay natin, di ba? Ay, hindi na lang, ay ano. So siguro, pag ang ano talaga, sa part talaga ni Mother Dionisia at ni Mother Cecilia, the commitment which really led to their consecration and ended up their final union with God in heaven, masasabi ko talaga na ang kanilang pagbibigay ng kanilang sarili, binigyan sila ng Panginoon. They are gifted to give because they did not stay mediocre, di ba? Yung bang ang saya ko kapag naiisip ko na gaano kalaki ang mga pinagdaanan ng foundresses namin na magrereklamo ako ng mga nararanasan ko. So kung titingnan ko, talagang gifted to give talagang aming foundresses. Why? Because they received that call and then they have been gifted by God. And then, syempre, pag binibigyan tayo ng regalo ng Panginoon, minsan nag-iisip pa tayo, paano ba ito? Pero pag nag-work talagang Holy Spirit sa ating mga sarili, talagang automatic nagtatranspire yung flow, parang walang hahadlang kahit gaano kahirap man yun. So yun ang aking naiintindihan na ang foundresses talaga namin ay talagang they are really gifted to give. Otherwise, there is no congregation of the Augustinian Recollect Sisters sharing, living within the 500 years of Christianity in the Philippines. Sa pagiging magkapatid nila, nanggagaling sila sa mayaman na family. Diba? Gifted na sila doon. Pero pwede naman hindi nila binalik yun sa Panginoon. Pwede nilang gamitin yung kanilang yaman, gifted sila, pwedeng gamitin sa ibang paraan. But the Talangpaz Sisters had a way which no one expected, which no one was able to imagine na ito palang kanilang pagbibigay ay tutungo. Gifted to give para makapagbigay pa ng mga ma-enrich ang mga calling ng mga young ladies na pumasok sa congregation of the Augustinian Recollect Sisters.